because I have to say it's complicated. It's not like the old days, you know, although I'm thinking maybe we have to go back to the old days. Because when I was a kid growing up in LA, my mom would say, take out the garbage. And this was in Los Angeles in the early 50s. And I took the trash out, which was in a paper bag, and I put it in the backyard incinerator and I burned it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that, you know, with the plastic, unbelievable amounts of plastic, I'm thinking that burning it is really the only solution that can work. There's just so much of it. And it's just an unending stream. We just can't get rid of the plastic. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so when it comes to recycling and composting, really the statistics are anywhere from 30% to 50% of what goes into landfill is food waste plant products. And speaking as a guy that has looked in a lot of dumpsters, people just throw so much food into the landfill bin. They just throw food. I mean, unopened food, whole chickens, you know, I mean, unopened packages of food. And then of course a lot of stuff that has been partially eaten, they just throw it in the landfill. Because I guess it's a little bit harder to take it out and put it into the green cart, which is where it's supposed to go. So if people would do that, if people would only do the composting, take all the food scraps, whether it's bone or a dead plant, along with the dirt, and throw that in the green cart, you know, that would save so much. And you know, the trouble with putting food into the landfill is when it goes there, it creates a lot of methane gas. And I'm not sure, I think it's 10 times worse than CO2 in terms of, you know, getting up in the atmosphere and leading to global warming and things like that. So I mean, food in the landfill is really a bad thing because it makes methane gas. So if you and your neighbors can get together and decide, okay, we're going to put all the food, all the plants, all the dirt into the green cart, it'll save so much. It'll save so much. And you know, I mean, that's one thing. I think that's a worldwide problem, but especially for us, especially for Americans, we throw so much stuff away. We throw so much food away. You know, just millions and millions of dollars worth of food. You know, and a lot of it, as I say, from looking, it's good. I've seen people throwing away whole cartons of eggs. I mean, I don't know, maybe it said the time was expired, but I mean, it's an egg. I mean, you know, try it. It might be okay, even if it says best by this date. Yeah, so I think that's the main message that I have, is if you can go ahead and anything that's food, bones, anything, just compost it. And really the easiest way to do it is you can get compostable bags. So if you go to Safeway, for example, you look at all the plastic bags, then you'll see compostable bags. And they're plastic bags, they sort of have a greenish tinge to them, and they say compostable on them very clearly. And that's the kind of plastic bag that can go into the compost, into the organics. So, you know, I mean, we just love our plastic bags. And it's just hard to imagine that really until 1970s, when the technology for mass producing those plastic bags came out, we didn't have plastic bags until in the 1970s. But, you know, of course that's a long time, that's like almost 50 years. And it's like, how can we possibly live without plastic? We have to have our plastic bags. You know, so there's just a proliferation of them, and I just don't see any way it's going to stop anytime soon. But if you want to compost, you can use a plastic bag, compostable. You can buy them at Safeway and online. Just as long as it says compostable, then you can just take the bag and just throw it into the compost. Now what I do is I use newspaper. So I'll take a couple of pieces of newspaper every day. I'll take all of my compostable material, which I've been storing in the refrigerator. I do this every morning. I dump it out onto the newspaper. I wrap up the newspaper, and I throw it in the green cart. Okay, so that's another way you can do it, is by wrapping it in newspaper. And the thing about compost is it basically requires two different things. So I don't know if there's any scientists around here. I'm not a scientist. Social worker, English teacher is sort of what I did. And but the thing is, there are two components to organic waste. One is nitrogen, and that's sort of the green stuff, and the other is carbon. And carbon is the brown stuff. So you sort of get a mixture of half nitrogen, all the green leaves, and the brown leaves, and mix it up, and that's what creates the compost, which is a tremendous soil amendment. It just goes right back into the soil. Okay, so that's what I do, is I put it in a paper bag, because one of the big problems with compost, people complain about, that it's so messy, and it's messy if you're not neat about it. I mean, just toss things in any old way, then of course it's not going to be so neat. The other thing is, if you do throw things in without sort of packaging them in either a compostable plastic bag or in newspaper or a paper bag, something like that, then what happens is, if there's any kind of meat product at all, I'm not a scientist, so if I don't say it exactly right, then my apologies, but my understanding is if any kind of meat, flies go straight to it and lay their eggs, and what you get maggots. And so I mean, I'm not saying I'm big on maggots, but a lot of people, maggot, that's really terrible. And the reason you get maggots is because you're exposing that meat. So if people wrap things up in newspaper or in a compostable plastic bag, and put it in neatly without throwing it so that everything breaks open, then you shouldn't have any problem with maggots. And the other thing you can do, of course, is like, you get that pizza box in there, sort of nice and flat on top of everything else. That'll sort of keep them away as well. You have a bunch of leaves that you swept up, throw those leaves in, get a layer of leaves in there on top of what's over there, and that'll slow them down too. If you do get maggots, then don't use any chemicals in there, because if you put chemicals in there, then you'll mess up the compost, right? Because it'll have these bad chemicals in there. So what I do, and what you can do, is I get vinegar, just regular old vinegar, and I just have it in a squirt bottle, and I squirt, take a paper towel or something and wipe it down, mostly the lid and around the rim, because those are the part of the cart that people interact with. And they go, I'm not touching that, it's dirty. Yeah, okay. So what you can do is just spray it down with vinegar, wipe it off with a paper towel or with a piece of newspaper or something like that. Just try to concentrate on the lid and then around the rim of the cart below the lid. So I think that's the best thing to do in terms of trying to keep your green cart fairly clean. Okay. So I think that's it on compost. Any questions about compost and green cart and organic waste? Yeah.
Dog feces?
No, absolutely not. No dog feces. Dog feces, leave them in the plastic bag that you collected them in and throw them in the landfill. Absolutely, that's a good question. Yeah, no pet products should go in there. No dog feces, no cat feces. Yeah.
Did you say things like pizza boxes could
Absolutely.
go in? But they're big. Isn't the compost one little?
Well, I guess if you get the extra large, it might be tough. In which case, fold it over. But anything that is paper soil, that is food soil, like the napkins, paper towels, pizza boxes. Of course, you take out those little plastic things that are in there and throw those in the landfill. But really, all of the pizza boxes, any kind of food soiled paper, basically can go into the organic. Of course.
So I've been throwing them in where you throw the paper. You shouldn't do that.
No, you shouldn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't try to recycle them. Take your pizza box and throw it in the.
So anything that has food on it.
Anything that has food. No, but the only thing is, some paper products, especially things like cups and plates, they're not all paper. And if you look at your paper plate and you see that it's shiny, or you look at your paper cup and you see that it's shiny, That's because it's got a very little thin coat of plastic. You know, they're really good at getting plastic on things. That has to go into the landfill. You know, so it has to be, if it's all paper, no plastic, it can go in the organic green cart. But if it's got any kind of plastic on it, little plastic film, so that it can't possibly leak through, then it's got to go in landfill.
So it doesn't go in the other one either, where the
No,
paper
no,
goes?
no. Okay, so the basic rule, oh, there's so many rules, but with recycling, the blue cart, you know, the cardboard, the paper, the glass, the metal, all of that stuff, the rule of that is it has to be clean and dry. And to sort of address your question about, can't you put these paper plates in there, they have a coat of plastic on them. If it's more than one material, then they don't want it in the recycling. They don't want it in the recycling. So even though it's mostly paper, it's got a little bit of plastic coating on it, they don't want it. They want it in landfill because they can't process it. So yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah, anything that's a combination, put it in a landfill. And one more thing. And the bottom line is, you know, when in doubt, throw it out. That means put it in a landfill. If you're not sure, put it in a landfill. Yes?
So brown paper bags, if they have food soiling, they can go in compost, but if they're clean, they can go in recycling?
Exactly.
Landfill.
Yeah. Right. So if you have a brown paper bag and it's got some food soiling on it, then you can go ahead and put it in compost. If it's a clean brown paper bag, then you can put it in recycling. That's right. Yeah.
We use our garbage disposal a lot.
Okay, well, I think if you read the article that's coming out of the Rossmoor News tomorrow by John Moe, and it's called Green Rossmoor, I think what I say in that, there's one little piece in that article that says, do not use your garbage disposal. You know, I would take all, you know, if there's something in there, of course, grind it down. But basically, when you're preparing your food, whatever you're doing, have your, have your compost bucket or bag or whatever handy, and just go everything in there. You know, so.
Use your garbage disposal.
Well, I think the garbage disposal, you know, it's just like it's garbage disposal. That's a technology that is really outdated. I mean, we have them, but the thing is, if you read those little, you know, the flyers, the mailers that come up from Central San, you know, the Contra Costa County Sanitation District, and they talk about, you know, what can go in the toilet and stuff like that. Basically, they don't want anything in there except for water. And of course, human waste has to go in there, and toilet paper. I mean, that's it. You know, and the more stuff you grind through your garbage disposal, the more chance, I mean, I don't think it's a big chance, but the more chance there is for a clog to occur, okay? So, I mean, I just think, you know, that nowadays, my advice is, do not use your garbage disposal unless you absolutely have to. You know, as you're doing your food preparation, you know, have your bucket or your plastic bag or whatever, and just everything that you're not, you know, that you're sort of cutting away and you're not using, like those mini pepper seeds and stems, you know, just put it in there. I mean, I know it's easy, you know, I mean, and as Americans, we like it easy, you know, we love the convenience. Yeah, put it all in there, yeah, grind it down. You know, just like people come from other countries and they discover the flush toilet. People that don't know put everything down those toilets and there's all these clogs. Oh yeah, it's just like throw everything down, flush it, get rid of it. And of course now we know that the only thing that should go down that toilet is whatever comes out of your body and toilet paper. That's it, nothing else. But you know, it's hard for people to get used to the idea, hey, we shouldn't really take advantage of these things in inappropriate ways. Okay, how am I doing so far? Yeah. So also with the recycling, you know, the rule that we have for recycling is we want it to be loose and dry. Okay, I don't think it has to be perfect, but like the lid on the jar, take it off. You know, and if it's bigger than a credit card, you can go into recycling. But keep it loose, keep take a plastic bag and throw it in there. I mean, although I'm telling you, I look at it's just there's not a time that goes by when I look in a recycling can and I don't see a plastic bag thrown in there full of stuff. I mean, people just do it. So they don't get the idea of loose and dry. Okay, no plastic bags. Now here's one of the complications, and that is that some kind of plastic bags can go in recycling. And those are the soft plastic bags, like for example, the kind of plastic bag that your newspaper comes in. It's soft plastic. So if it's soft and stretchy, then what you can do is you can take that plastic bag and save it up and put it all into one big soft and stretchy plastic bag and tie it off, and that can go in recycling. But if it's crinkly plastic, you know, if you crinkle it and it's a little bit hard, it can't go in recycling. You know, and so I try to not say anything about plastic bags because it's confusing. I mean, you got to do the plastic bag test, and really the truth of the matter is that most plastic bags are the harder kind of crinkly plastic, which cannot go in recycling.
So the little bags that vegetables
I
come
can
in,
put in my
Well, you know, sometimes with your vegetable bag, that's the test. Can you stretch it? Is it soft? Then it can go. If it's crinkly and kind of stiff, then it can't go. So
it's
it's,
like
you know,
gray bags from Amazon, when we get
Amazon bag, no. Yeah, it's so complicated with the plastic. That's why, you know, I mean, you know, you read things about all the animals, all the fish, all the birds, and you know, these poor animals, they see all these little small pieces of plastic, they eat it, you know. And of course, I mean, it's not very nourishing. You get a stomach full of plastic, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course we have these giant Pacific garbage patch, which is, you know, this, I don't know, I think the last thing I said, one of them, the South Pacific, it's twice as big as the state of Texas. That's a lot of plastic. You know, so how can we possibly get rid of this stuff? You know, and if you read the newspaper, you watch documentaries on PBS about plastics, I mean, it's just all over. I mean, some countries, it's just terrible. You know, a lot of the countries in Asia, Southeast Asia, they're just inundated with plastic. You know, as you probably all know, for a while, up until a couple of years ago, China was taking all of the plastic we could give them. But they said no more. So, you know, and our recycling industry has not really gotten up to speed in terms of being able to handle all this plastic that is now here. You know, we can't ship it out anymore. So, yeah, so it's just sort of as an aside, if you're interested, in Copenhagen, Denmark, there's a place that they call Copenhill, Copenhagen. It's a giant, enormous building, and what it is basically is an incinerator. It's a giant incinerator. It's got office buildings, it's got a running track, it's got a ski slope, it's got a lot of other features, but basically Copenhill in Copenhagen is a giant enclosed incinerator. So after they do whatever recycling they can do, get the hazardous stuff out, whatever they take out, they just pour everything in and they burn everything in this giant incinerator and generate energy. And then of course they have all of their, you know, their filters and everything else and processors, so that in the end the only thing that comes out is water vapor, because they're recapturing everything else. So they're burning all this stuff. Because someone said it's plastic, we just, there's no way we can recycle it. They're burning all this stuff, they're creating energy, and they're doing it clean, so that there's nothing coming out except for water vapor. So I mean, when I look at, yeah.
Why is that happening in Copenhagen and not around the rest of the world?
Well, you know, I think that it is happening, though. They have, like, if there's a really cool, if you look in the National Geographic, I can't remember, I've got it sitting at home, and the lead article is called The End of Trash. The End of Trash in National Geographic. And basically, you know, what they're trying to say is, you know, we want to be like nature. We want to be circular. You know, nothing is wasted. Everything is reused or reinvested, you know, in the planet. So they're trying to go to zero waste. So people are working on not just in Denmark and in Holland and other countries too. They're really working on trying to get to a circular kind of economy and getting to zero waste. And I think this is, you know, I don't think this is the final solution, but just one of the things that they're trying to do. And I mean, we have, for example, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I was saying, oh, Copenhagen is really great. And so she said to me, she says, oh yeah, Spokane, Washington, they have incinerator up there. And so I'm not exactly sure if it was identical, but you know, they have the same idea with all the recycling and that stuff they're doing. They have so much stuff, instead of carrying it off to the landfill, they burn it. Sort of the same kind of an idea as the Copenhagen model.
They're able to generate power from the product being burned.
Yeah, they generate power from it, right? Power generation. So I told the CEO of the Golden Rain Foundation, I told him, Tim O'Keefe, I wrote him an email. I said, hey Tim, you know, let's put in an incinerator in Rossmoor. And he said, oh, it wouldn't go with the rest of the architecture.
Oh. Oh.
But you know, so anyway, so I think really, when I'm looking around and trying to think, what can we do? I mean, because I'm really dedicated to recycling, and I go through so many things. It's plastic. I just can't get away from it. So it's really a tough problem, and as long as we have the plastic industry turning it out, it's so cheap, it's so convenient. You know, it's sort of hard to say stop.
Can you clarify lids? What kind of lids?
Sorry?
Can you clarify like bottle tops and coffee cup lids and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So.
What goes where?
Okay, so generally speaking, any kind of hard plastic, like for example, you know, like I like berries a lot, so you get your blackberries or your blueberries. That kind of hard plastic container can go into recycling. Anything that's hard plastic, basically, and is bigger than a credit card, can go into recycling. Yeah. Anything that is mixed, like mostly paper but a little plastic, that has to go on the landfill. They don't want anything that's mixed. Okay.
So like a coated milk carton does not go in
Well,
recycling.
that's one of our big problems, because for a while, you know, they were accepting that.
What?
And in fact, if you look at a picture like this picture here about what's recyclable, you can see there's the coated milk carton right there, the coated milk carton. So you think, oh, I can recycle this. But I think about maybe a year and a half ago, they said no. So what happens is that our trash provider, or Republic Services, you know, they contract with a recycler. So whatever the recycler says, I've been out there. It's out in can't remember where it is. It's over there somewhere. You know, I was out at the recycling center, and so whatever the recycling center says, and that's what Republic has to do. So I think it was about a year and a half ago or so, they said no more plastic milk cartons. Of course, if you have an all plastic milk carton, that's fine. Like this one here, you know, if it's all plastic, it's just an all plastic milk carton, that's fine. But the coated milk cartons like this, no more. I mean, they were good, but about a year and a half ago, I think, or so, they said no more. Yeah. And of course, the other thing is, yeah, you know, if you want information on what goes and what doesn't go, then you can just look in the beginning of the Rossmoor phone book. I can't remember what page it's on. Well, I think I say what page it's on in this thing here. Yeah, so this is not all the pages. It's so complicated. So 21 to 23 is the hazardous materials, but of course there's more pages there. That's okay. I mean, you know, if you open to the beginning around page 20 or 18 or something, then you can see, you know, all these different pictures of, there's a recycling page, a landfill page, an organics page, and then pages of explanation. This goes on and on. I mean, it's so complicated. So, or you know, or you can always, you know, send me an email or give me a call, and I'll try to answer your question for you.
You know, this is gonna sound real petty, but I live way in the back, and to carry 3 things of trash out here, it's hard enough to get one thing out here.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, it definitely is more work. It definitely requires planning, and it's so much easier just have everything one plastic
Yeah.
bag, take it out and dump it. I understand that. And the thing is, I mean, if if that's the bottom, I mean, if I think you can sort of say things to yourself like I do. It's like, well, I need the exercise. Okay. I don't make 10,000 steps every day, but I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm like, walk Rossmoor. Don't get in your car unless you absolutely have to. I mean, I do every day anyway, get in my car, but just try not to. Like, for example, today, I mean, it's not really walking, but today I got on my bike. I live over Golden Rain Entry 7. I got on my bike. I rode over to the Rossmoor Safeway. I got this amazing deal. Every once in a while, I don't know if you bother with the Safeway app, and just for you and all this stuff, but I do. And a couple days ago, I was looking, and they said, "Oh, you qualify for a free rotisserie chicken."
Wow.
Of course, I had to get it by today, so I said, "Okay, I'll take it." Free rotisserie chicken. By the way, they raised the price. The sales price on the rotisserie chicken for anybody that buys them used to be $5. That's the sales price, but now they raised the sales price to $6. But they said I could get a free one. Of course, today it expired by today, so I rode my bike over there, and I got my free rotisserie chicken.
Well, like I've been saving cans, but I put them in a plastic bag to take it out there, and I've been throwing that plastic bag in. I can't do that, right? They
You're not
need to be in a paper bag.
Yeah, that would be much better. Paper would be better, So but like I said, you give yourself the argument. Oh, I need exercise. That's definitely more trouble because it is 3 different things, And even if you're doing it carefully, you got 1 bag of recyclables, and of course the other thing is you could always play a game with yourself and say, I remember I read this article the other day, and this family of 4 was trying really hard. Of course, I didn't really read about everything they did, but at the end of a year, they actually had only 1 shoebox worth of stuff that had to go into landfill.
Wow.
For a family of 4 in a year.
Wow.
Of course, it's tough for the average person to do that in 1 day. But anyway.
When you mentioned Safeway, I was thinking of the Safeway plastic bag. I would take that back and put it into the container at Safeway. If not, that would go into landfill because it's shiny. That would not go to recycling.
That's correct.
So the shiny Safeway plastic either goes back to the store
Right.
or winds up in the landfill.
Right. Either that, it's a store or landfill. That's right. That's very good.
Goes
Yeah.
to the landfill.
Yeah. So the thing is, so for people that are, of course, I'm not going to say it, but you might have noticed when you go into Safeway at either entrance on either side of our Rossmoor Safeway, there's a sort of a square plastic container, and it says plastic bags. And so that's where you can take those hard plastic bags that you get from Safeway and other places. You can just throw them into the plastic bag container just inside either entrance at Safeway. And they've always been there at our Rossmoor Safeway. Other Safeways, not so much, because sometimes I go to Lafayette or go to Walnut Creek. But our Rossmoor Safeway, they're supposed to have them out there. If you go to another Safeway, you don't see it. You could probably ask for it, and they would probably take your plastic bags. But so that's one of the things that they're doing. But the Rossmoor Safeway is great. Every time I've ever gone there, they've had these little, just inside the entrance, they have these plastic containers for plastic bags. That's a good point. Yeah.
So if those plastic bags go to the landfill, why are they collecting them? Are they melting
Well,
them
the thing
down?
is I don't think that they're going to landfill if Safeway is collecting them, and that would be kind of double dealing. If you ask me, we're collecting them, but after we collect them, we're throwing them in landfill.
what are they
So there's a
doing with them?
presumption that they're recycling them. So how they're doing it, whether they're reusing them, I don't know. But you know, if they're saying they're recycling and they go ahead and throw it on landfill, then that's double dealing, if you ask me. So I haven't really asked them, okay, what are you doing with these plastic bags that you're recycling? But I'm assuming that if they're collecting them, they're doing the right thing. You know, just like if you go to Home Depot, for example, they'll take fluorescent bulbs, and maybe even Ace Hardware will take fluorescent bulbs, and because they're hazardous, because they have mercury in them.
Huh.
And you're assuming that they're not just taking them and throwing them in landfill, you're assuming that they are recycling them in a responsible way.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not following Ace Hardware around to make sure that they're doing what I'm assuming that they're doing. But, you know, you sort of have to assume that these people that are doing these things are not, are not double dealing.
You gotta hope they're legit.
Okay, so does anybody have any other questions?
I just have a comment, observation that with the pandemic, it's a lot harder for us to continue with our recycling effort because we can't bring our own bags anymore. We can't use our own cups at Starbucks anymore.
Well,
So
no,
it feels like we're being-
I don't know about Starbucks, but you can use your own bag. For example, you know, I go to Trader Joe's, and so what they do is you bring your own plastic bag. They say throw it in the bottom of the cart, and then when you get up to the check stand, the guy is standing there, and you just say, I'll package my own. And so then the guy that's going to put your stuff in a paper bag or whatever walks away, and when it comes through, you reach underneath your thing, you take out your plastic, your own reusable bag, and you load it yourself.
Well, I
And
asked
you can
at
do the
Safeway
same thing
if I
at
could bring
Safeway.
my own bag, and they said no.
Where was this?
Safeway.
They
Well,
just now
The
started
thing
letting
is,
you do
when
it,
I
and I
was
bet
at
they
Safeway
stopped.
today, when I was at Safeway today,
Safeway.
you know, when the guy was gonna bag it, I said, don't do it. And I held my bag up. I said, I got my own plastic bag. It was happened to be a Safeway plastic bag. I got my own plastic bag.
And they let
And
me
so
do
they
it?
didn't do it, and they let me bag myself.
I think that kind of depends on the day.
Well, it was
Is he
today.
saying Safeway let you do it?
It was today, it was Rossmoor Safeway.
It was a couple weeks ago
I
that
said, I'm doing it. And they said, okay. They
Well,
didn't
I
say,
was in earlier this week, or last week at the end of the week, and I asked, can I bring my own bags yet? And she said they just started letting you.
oh,
But with everything going back again and sheltering in place again, I bet they stopped letting you bring your own bags in.
yeah, well, that's possible, but, you know, it's the last time I was at Trader Joe's, it worked.
Yeah.
And last time I was at Safeway, which was Rossmoor Safeway today, I got my own bag. It's a Safeway bag. It's just like the bags that you got there. I've got it. And they let me do it. I mean, if they won't let you, they won't let you, but I think it's worth an effort.
Well, I think they just started because I haven't put my bags back in my car yet.
Okay. Okay, so I have these, if anybody is interested, I have these, you know, so it makes it a little bit easier. If you want to use a bucket, we have the bucket. And also if you want to have a recycle bag, even though it's slightly misleading, it's got caps on, it's got, it's got the milk carton, which is inaccurate, no caps, no milk carton. But this is the bag that I use, put all my recycle stuff in, and when it's full I take it out.